Bonjour, Kinamagi Nene Ireland Dijnakas, and welcome to this production of Social Studies Explorer. Today's presentation, Part 2 of Chapter 6, Section 7, Turning Points. In our previous edition, we talked greatly about Trenton and that turning point. Now we're going to talk about the Battle of Saratoga. Battle of Saratoga was fought in this region north of Albany, kind of midway between New York City and the Canadian border. The Battle of Saratoga, known as the turning point of the war, happened in October of 1777. The battles of Saratoga were a series of battles that ended in Saratoga, New York, with the surrender of British General John Burgoyne and approximately 6,000 men. The Americans were led by Major General Horatio Gates, as well as Generals Benedict Arnold, yep, that one, and Benjamin Lincoln. Other key commanders included Colonel Daniel Morgan and General Enoch Poor. This decisive victory by the Americans was a turning point of the Revolutionary War. Let's click into this video here.
On September 19, 1777, the Battle of Saratoga, a victory for the American rebels, was not only a turning point in the Revolution, but also transformed the diplomatic landscape.
A Moment in Time with Dan Roberts.
In the summer of 1777, British forces led by General John Burgoyne marched southward from Quebec along the Hudson River, seeking to capture Albany, New York, seize control of the Hudson River, and thereby cut New England off from the south. It was a bold move. Burgoyne's plan, however, failed due to supply, coordination, and communication problems. Unable to secure supplies from the countryside, he had to haul all his provisions, arms, and ammunition with him. This meant slow going and gave the Americans time to lay a trap on the Bemis Plateau north of Albany. Burgoyne also did not receive promised help from British armies in and around New York. He was on his own when, on September 19th, he encountered a comparable American force, about 6,000 men, under General Horatio Gates. The ensuing battle, the Battle of Freeman's Farm, or First Saratoga, was indecisive. But ominously, the British casualty rate was twice as high as that of the rebels. Instead of retreating to Canada like he should have, on October 7th, Burgoyne tried to break through again, and this time was shellacked by forces led by Benedict Arnold at Bemis Heights. Burgoyne then retreated northward to present-day Schuylerville. There, he was surrounded by 17,000 rebels and forced to surrender on October 17th, 1777. The two battles have taken the name Saratoga because it was the venue of surrender. Not only is Saratoga considered the military turning point of the Revolution, its diplomatic consequences were even greater than its military value. This first major rebel battlefield victory convinced the French to recognize the fledgling American Republic and aid in the cause of independence. At the University of Richmond, I'm Dan Roberts.
Further information on the Battle of Saratoga from the History Channel, also linked within this document here from Michigan Open Book. We get some images of the Battle of Quebec, the failed Canadian invasion that left much of the Continental Army beaten, sick, and in retreat. Burgoyne had hoped to discourage potential American allies such as France from joining the fight, and they wanted to cut off, as mentioned in the video, the New England from the rest of the colonies. Divide and conquer, if you may. Let me see, Freeman's Farm, which was inconsequential as far as the outcome. Battle of Bemis Heights. He realized that he could no longer wait as General Gates's troops started to number over 13,000. And then got kind of stuck in heavy rain and frigid temperatures. Benedict Arnold was a hero in this one, and we know Benedict Arnold has the name for traitor in our country. Benedict Arnold, as we know, later turncoated and was willing to give up what's now West Point along the Hudson River. But at this time, he was a very good American general. And despite being wounded in Quebec and passed up for promotions, he did play a heroic role at Saratoga. There is a historical park there and that you could visit if you're on a road trip. Despite being overcome during the Battle of Freeman's Farm, the Continental Army persevered and won a decisive victory at the Battle of Saratoga. They decimated Burgoyne's troops, cut off supply routes, and Burgoyne never received the promised desperately needed reinforcements. And their planned divide and conquer attack against the Americans never would come to fruition. Saratoga was a turning point in the American Revolution. It gave the Patriots a major morale boost and persuaded the French, Spanish, and Dutch to join their cause against a mutual rival. That French support would eventually help the Continental Army win the final Battle of Yorktown, leading to the end of the American Revolution. So when we talk about important battles in our nation's history, the Battle of Saratoga absolutely should be right up there with Trenton and Yorktown and a number of Civil War battles, really. But this was that opportunity to finally show the British that we are not going anywhere. And hey, France, come join us. We can do this. And obviously, as we know, that French help was key to our victory at Yorktown and key to our establishment as an independent nation from Great Britain. At this point, you should turn into the Google Classroom for the assignment. I hope you have a minogijigad. Minwa, Bama P.